Can you explain to me how a man who for 7 years in a row during the height of the armed operations spoke at IRA commemorations for dead IRA terrorists, and who in May this year was praised and saluted by Hamas for a statement that he made, the armed militant group. He also calls Hamas and Hezbollah his friends. How is he fit to keep our country safe and secure?
That is absolute nonsense.
We're nearly at the end now. We're nearly at the end. Let her reply. Please let the candidate reply.
That is absolute nonsense. The problem is, you need to use your own mind and think yourself, rather than listening to the rubbish newspapers and reading the Daily Mail and the mainstream media. Jeremy Corbyn's voting record. Look at his history. He is a man of peace. Whether you like him or not, he is a man of peace. He has He is a man of peace, and so that is it. Do a little bit of reading and then come back to me.
I don't mind whoever.
Don't mention the name Corbyn on the doorsteps, Miss McAlpine, and see what we're supposed to get. They won't listen to you. They're telling
Right, Chris. Charlotte, would you please answer?
I'm not going to seek to defend Jeremy Corbyn in any way. I wouldn't vote for Jeremy Corbyn.
I would vote for Joe Spencer.
I don't think he's a good political leader. However, I would make the point that if you are going to have peace in this world, you have to speak to some pretty unsavoury people. John Major spoke to the IRA, and he started the process that led to the Good Friday peace deal. So you do have to speak to some very, very unpleasant people, and sometimes you have to make very difficult compromises with those people. We got the Good Friday Agreement, but we had to allow for some things to be left. And so we know that there are people who did terrible things, murdered people, kneecapped people and what have you, who are still walking free. But what we have for now is peace in Northern Ireland, and that is a prize that is always worth working for. And it's another one of the things that really worries me about Brexit, because you're now talking about, you were talking about a border across between the two parts of Ireland, which was going to do terrible damage to the peace agreement, and now you're talking about a border down the Irish Sea, which is also going to do damage to the peace in Ireland. And I cannot believe that anyone is willing to put that at risk, and that seems to me much, much more shameful, to put people's lives at risk just for a political point.
So on Sunday we had the Remembrance Service, a beautiful service in our town. A member of the British Legion, who I won't name, who said he had been a Labour person all his life but he would never vote for Corbyn. And I said to him, why would you never vote for Corbyn? I said to him, I will not name him out of courtesy to him. He said I would never vote for Corbyn because I served in Northern Ireland and Corbyn went to the funerals and supported the people who murdered my friends. Yes. Exact words to me, on my word of honour. And this man did not read the Daily Mail. He saw that Jeremy Corbyn is a friend of the IRA, he's a friend of Hamas, and he's a friend of Hezbollah, and brought them into the House of Commons. Sadly, Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell have been a friend of terrorists.
Right, can I just ask maybe you two really, is the whole general election now more about the personalities of Corbyn and Johnson and not about the policies of either party? Do people make, do the red tops make too much, the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, Corbyn this, Corbyn that, and not about what the Labour Party do? Conservative politicians attack Corbyn instead of the Labour Party. Would you say that was true at the moment? And equally the other way, half the country think Boris Johnson is an idiot.
Isn't this a public
I'm not biased at all. I'm not asking both parties.
It's not about
The question is it more about personalities?
Well, questions, and the good thing is, tonight, the vast majority of questions have been on policy, on the environment, on education, on housing, on crime. Matthew had his right to ask a question why Jeremy Corbyn was a friend of terrorists.
Absolutely, yeah.
We ask why Boris Johnson is a friend of Russians. Can we ask that? Can we ask that question? Why is Boris Johnson a friend of Russians?
It's Boris Johnson, a friend of Russians, exactly. It has unfortunately become about personalities and people forgetting about the policies, people forgetting what has happened to this town for the past 9 years under the Conservatives. It is an embarrassment, to be honest, Robert. Are you really proud of what you and your government have done to this town? So it has become more about personalities and less about policy. And I know Jeremy Corbyn, and he is a decent, kind, principled man. Whether you agree with him, it's about our policies. That is what it's about. It's about policies that are actually going to transform working class people's lives, like the people in this room. And you're not going to get that under a Conservative government. Well, you haven't had that after the past 9 years, so you certainly won't get it next.
I was asked Laura a question specifically by members of Harlow's Jewish community, a community which I share some heritage. How do you personally justify the comments of Mr. Hawksby? Is he still your aide? What will you do personally to take a stance, a real stance, make a real difference on the irrefutable amount of anti-Semitism in your party that
First of all, can we have a bit of respect, please? First of all, what I will say is that the Labour Party is an anti-racist party. I come from a family of long-line anti-racist campaigners. Brett Hawksby wrote that blog in 2015. And he has said himself that if he was to write that blog again today, he would not use those words. He has publicly apologised for using those words. And I believe that it was right that he did that. I don't have an aide. What I have is I work very closely with lots of different people in the Labour Party. And we are a democratic party, but I don't have an aide. I have my own voice and my own views. But what I am saying is that Brett Hawksby apologised for those words, and I think that it is right that he did apologise for those words. What will I do? I can say. Can I just come back to that? So you said, what will I do about in the Labour Party? So anti-Semitism is abhorrent in all sorts of society. Whether it's in the Labour Party or in the wider society. There are 6 cases for every 10,000 members in the Labour Party of anti-Semitism, and 1 case is too many. And we have robust procedures to deal with that, and we're dealing with it very fast. But it's not more common in the Labour Party than it is in the wider community. But all anti-Semitism, all racism is wrong, and it needs to be stamped out.
as somebody from a Jewish background whose father came to this country because of persecution, it is incredibly sad to me that anti-Semitism has reached Harlow, which is a kind and tolerant place and has a wonderful synagogue and a wonderful community. It's incredibly sad that Jewish Labour MPs have been hounded out of the Labour Party. People who I met in House of Commons who are very good people. Jewish Labour MPs hounded out of their own party and having to join other parties or step down from Parliament. That is pretty shocking. It's sad that the Labour Party is being investigated by the Equalities and Human Rights Commission for anti-Semitism. Yeah. It's incredibly sad that Jeremy Corbyn has not supported an anti-Semitic mural, which he's since apologised for, to be fair, but supported that anti-Semitic mural which was done in East London. The scourge of anti-Semitism has hit the Labour Party, and it's really sad for our country, it's really sad for Harlow, and it's incredibly sad that one of the senior people around your campaign is also an anti-Semite and has talked about the final solution.
Charlotte, please.
I think it's deeply depressing, genuinely deeply depressing, that we're having this conversation about one of our political parties clearly having members in it who have been anti-Semitic, and clearly Luciana Berger, when she left the Labour Party, clearly felt that she wasn't safe there, she wasn't comfortable there. That is deeply, deeply depressing. But it's also deeply depressing that you have a Conservative Party who is obviously Islamophobic, and the Windrush. At the end of the day, we are all people, and we should all respect each other and care for each other, and we shouldn't have anti-Semitism, anti-Islam, anti-whatever. We are all people, and we all have a value, and we should value each other and care for each other.
Thank you.